Hey folks, I know I gave you notes for section 8.5, but I thought I might do a couple of live examples here of how to add and subtract fractions. I've done, these are a little complicated more examples than what you might see in your notes there. Take a look at this. The first problem I'm adding two fractions. I got 3 over x squared minus 5x plus 6 plus 2 over x squared minus 4. All right, I know that to add fractions I have to get a common denominator. And the only way you can add the numerators is if the denominators are the same. So to do this, the first thing I say to myself is, does each denominator factor? Well, this first fraction, the first denominator factors into x minus 3 and x minus 2. The second denominator factors into x plus 2 and x minus 2. Now at this point, and again, it might be worth it to do what I'm doing. If you think you can do it on your own, be my guest. But I like to make an LCD list. And an LCD list, the least common denominator list, is just all you do is take a look at each different factor in each denominator and you put them in the LCD list. For example, I see this x minus 3 here. I see it, I put it in the list. I see an x minus 2 here. I see it, I put it in the list. Now this first denominator is completely he is represented wholly in the LCD, right? Now I go to the second denominator. I see an x plus 2. Is there an x plus 2 already in this list? No? You need to put an x plus 2 in the list. Now I look at this last x minus 2. X minus 2, is there already an x minus 2 in the list? Well, yeah, there's already an x minus 2 in the list, so I don't need to duplicate it. I don't need to write it twice. Now at this point, just to double check, because it's an LCD, it's a common denominator, that means I should see both of the separate denominators in this original denominator. Well, here's the first denominator right there. Here's the second denominator right there. I see both denominators in this LCD. I know I did it right. Okay, now all I have to do is say to myself, okay, what does the original denominator in each fraction, what does it need in the LCD list that's missing? Right? Well, the first one, he had an x minus 3 and an x minus 2. What does he need? Well, he needs that x plus 2 from the list. So if I give it to the bottom of the fraction, I got to give it to the top of the fraction. The second fraction, well, let's see. He had an x plus 2 and an x minus 2. What does he need from the list there? Oh, he needed the x minus 3. So I give it to the bottom, and I give it to the top. Now that you see the denominators match, I can add the numerators. I would get 3x plus 6 plus 2x minus 6 all over that original denominator of x minus 3, x minus 2, x plus 2. Combining like terms, I get, see here, 5x over the x minus 3, x minus 2, and x plus 2. Okay? Now, unlike multiplying and dividing fractions, this is not about factoring and canceling. This is about making your bottoms match so that you can add your numerators. And that's how you do adding this fraction. Let's take a look at the second problem where I'm subtracting two fractions. Okay? All right, and this one, again, I need to factor each bottom. I get x plus 2, x plus 1 in the first bottom. I get an x plus 1 and an x minus 1 in the second bottom. I create my LCD list of x plus 2, x plus 1. I don't need an x plus 1 because he's already in the list, and I need another x minus 1. Now, just to save time and space, I'm just going to go back and readjust the original fraction. This fraction needed an x minus 1 in his bottom, so he needs an x minus 1 in his top. This fraction needed an x plus 2 on his bottom, so I give an x plus 2 on his top and bottom. Right? Now, by doing this, I see on the top I get x squared minus x on from the first numerator minus x squared plus 6x plus 8 from the second fraction. Notice this minus here has to become a minus of that whole top in parentheses there, over my LCD of x plus 2, x plus 1, x minus 1. Now distributing that negative, I get x squared minus x squared minus 6x minus 8 over x plus 2, x plus 1, and x minus 1. Combining like terms, sweet! The x squareds cancel. The 6x in the negative s becomes negative 7x minus 8 over x plus 2, x plus 1, x minus 1. And there's my subtracted fractions. And remember, folks, your goal here, again, was make the bottoms match so you can add or subtract the tops. That's all we're doing. Do not try and factor and cancel. That is not the route you want to take on this. I'll see you guys later. Have a good weekend. Hey, remember, Quiz Monday, sections 8-1, 8-2, 8-3. Study.